Hey everybody, welcome to our YouTube channel. Please like, share, and subscribe, and turn on those post notifications for our upcoming videos and episodes. Thank you and enjoy the show.
Hell, you're on.
I'm on.
All right, let's get this started. What is today? What is today? What is today?
Redline
What
Thursday. Redline
is
Thursday.
on Thursday? Yes. We have reached another red line Thursday. So let's get this show started and let's get this train starting to depart from Howard. Let's get it started. Go on, Charnel.
All right, everybody. Welcome to another Redline podcast, everybody. Hosted by Queen Alexis and myself, Nelly Swag09. Right here on TalkShoeRadio.com. Doors are now closing. Please take your seats. Hold on tight as this train pulls off from Howard, headed down 95th for a nice little ride. You did. On today's
Mm-hmm.
episode of the Redline podcast, we are talking about something that we feel is not talked about enough, and that's Black Americans' relationship with African culture. And what is our history and what is our culture? So we're going to get into the ins and outs and everything. Are we Black Americans who identify with American culture? Are we Black and identify with African culture? Does American culture embrace us? Does African culture embrace us? Or are we just out here orphaned like Annie? It's a hard knock life for us. So before we get into all of that and we pull the band-aid off for such an open scar, we about to do the highly requested but sometimes contested, and I believe the real reason why y'all listen to this show every week. So come on and say it with me, everybody out there in podcast land. Loose squares, and loud. Brought to you by our own Queen Alexis. So, Queen, what is your loose squares and loud for this Red Line Thursday? Go ahead, let the people know. What are you
All right.
serving up today?
All right, all right, all right. Let me get my tune in. Me. All right, let me get this started on tonight. Can I get? Can I go ahead and get a church moan? Say, mm, amen, amen. Beyonce is all punishment. Oh, Beyonce is all punishment. She made a movie that's black as shit. Beyonce is all punishment. Oh, Beyonce is all punishment. Oh, Beyonce is all punishment. She made a movie that's black as shit. Beyonce is all punishment. Yep, that's right. You heard what I said from the horse's mouth myself, because I know I was the one that said it from the get. After they came out talking about she gonna do Black Panther 2 and might be playing Storm. I was highly upset with her because she got on punishment. She got in trouble for this last new live action version of The Lion King and decided to play Nala. You know, when Nala grew up and she did too much. She did too much of Beyonce. She needed to pull back. So she just got a little trouble. It wasn't a bad punishment at all. All it was just, you don't need to be doing one more row. The next row that's offered to you, you can't do it. But look at your neighbor and say, there is a but. There is a but. There is a but. Yeah.
There
Oh,
is a but. There is a big
yeah.
old but.
Oh, wait. She done came out and that's going to come out with a visual album, movie, film, documentary, everything. It's just wonderful. That's going to be airing at 3 o'clock in the morning on Friday night, which I'm probably going to be getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning to watch. That's called Black is King. And oh my God, my God, when I say it's so black and it's so beautiful and it's so black and it's beautiful, look at your neighbor and say, it is black and it is beautiful. Yes,
I'm black,
yes,
y'all.
yes.
I'm black, y'all. I'm bliggly bleak the black, y'all.
Oh, sister missionary Beyonce, you are now off of your sabbatical. You can play whatever you want to play. You want to play Storm? Go ahead, play Storm. Go get the white hair and the X-Men outfit for her. Baby, if you want to go play Pinocchio, baby, go find the wooden nose and everything and get some strings attached to you. Honey, if you want to play Cinderella, well, wait a minute. Brandy did that, so you can't
No,
really do
no,
that
no,
after that.
no, no, no.
But thanks
Not
for the
that one. But
consideration.
maybe Snow
But
White
baby,
make her still black.
yeah, do Snow White, baby, you get by that wishing well and go. I'm wishing. Ooh, baby, play everything because this right here is the best thing that ever happened to us ever since Black Panther came out. This thing is so black, it's beautiful. Oh, I am so excited for what's coming out of the ministry of Beyonce. So bless your heart, Sister Missionary Evangelist Beyonce, and your parts and every part that was played from your backyard until the end of the world. Thank you so much. And that is my loose squares and loud. Bless your heart and your parts. I am done. Hallelujah. Clap your hands.
Well, we like to thank Deaconess Queen Alexis for that beautiful solo. Now go back to the choir stand, okay? All right. Thank you
Hiya!
very much.
Yes. Okay.
All right.
Here I go.
Listen, listen, Clark's sister Denise, the one that's hardly ever mentioned. Go back to the choir stand. Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Not the
But that,
thing. Not the thing.
but that's another show. That's a whole nother show. But um, everybody, today we are talking about something that I feel is not talked about a whole lot, that we don't always dive right into. So what we gonna do, like we like to do on the Red Line podcast, if y'all been listening to us for the past 10, 11 weeks, then y'all should know that we gonna talk about this stuff. This is not the show that's gonna not talk about it. So we about to talk about it. So I want to talk about what is the culture of Black America and what's the relationship with Africa. I bring this up for this reason. You know, all of us when we went to go see Black Panther, a lot of us had on African guards or had on African prints or anything of that matter. Or we tend to try to, connect to our roots because our ancestors were brought here on slave ships. And we really don't have a connection. Our lineage probably stopped someplace in Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Arkansas, somewhere, but we know it goes back further because other Americans, white Americans, Irish Americans, Jewish Americans, all of them can trace back their lineage hundreds and hundreds of years. But a lot of times it's hard for blacks to trace back our lineage because there weren't records on us. We wasn't considered people. We were considered property. So we try to connect somewhere back to where we think we came from. And we attach a lot of that to Africa. But are we misappropriating it? Are we using it as costume? Or are we really trying to get back our roots? Because there's been things said on the internet that most Africans don't really vibe with us. And a lot of America doesn't really vibe with us because, come on, if you've been in America as a black person, you know how America, spelt with the three K's, really feels about us. Heck, you could go back to when the cop was on George Floyd's neck and understand how America feels about us. And the fact that Breonna Taylor's killers are still haven't been arrested and charged with anything tells you how America feels about us. So, what is our culture as Black Americans? Do we say African American, but we're not really from Africa? We're from America. Do we really honor the red, white, and blue of America? Because July 4th is now when we were free, we were still in bondage. So, are we just out here orphaned? Like I said, I'm so lonely. I'm Mr. Lonely. I have no culture to call my own. Like, what is it? Like, I don't know, and I feel like it's a struggle, and we try to figure it out all the time about what we're attached to, who we're attached to, what's our legacy, what's our lineage, what's all of that. So I just want to ask y'all, what is that? What as Black Americans do we identify with? Are we misappropriating African culture? Are we truly part of American culture? But when we try to put some of our Black flavor in American culture, it's looked as ghetto or trash. That's until somebody white comes and appropriate the culture we created. Then it becomes fashionable, but they never give us credit for what we did. So I'm just confused. Queen Alexis, let me know because I feel out here naked. We're like, no, like, do Black Americans have an identity crisis? I'm just like, what's your 2 cents on this?
Well. To be honest, I really do believe that we do. Um, for it's been the longest. If you go look back on the history of Black African descent, Black people with African descent from slavery all the way back, you just look at how we ended up in slavery. Um, that it wasn't a kidnap situation at all. We were sold to these people and sold into slavery. Some was kidnapped, most was sold, and straight abandoned, just straight up like, all right, y'all out there, here you go. And over time, with Africa, this is just my opinion, with Africa seeing um the mistreatment of us over here, yet no one came to rescue us. It has been over time and over history. It has been a a um a suggestion of and trying to be a movement with Marcus Garvey of, oh, let's go back to Africa, let's do Liberia, call it Liberia, all of that wonderful things, but at the same time nothing happened. Africa said absolutely, positively nothing about us coming back until now. And it ain't Africa, it's Ghana that's saying, oh, y'all can come back, but we ain't got enough people for just Ghana. You feel me? It's not, oh, we got just us and this is all of us can fit into Ghana. No, we got enough people to fit into the whole continent of Africa. So, yo, Ghana, hey, I'm gonna need you to talk to the rest of your continent, the other countries in your continent about us all coming in because this is some bull. How do we not have a culture? We and our culture that we do have or try to reach back to get in these days now. We have Africans talking about it's a misappropriation. Like, since when? Am I not African? Am I not from Africa descent? Am I not a descendant from my African ancestors? Am I not? So yeah. Here go this bullshit here.
And it
Clubhouse,
is.
it is. We don't have. I don't really think we have any support. We're not welcome here. We're not wanted here. Well, we wanted for our culture and our work, and we was wanted to build this country on our young nation, but ain't nobody want to mention or admit that this country was built on our backs. So and then
We built this
we're
ish
not
before
really
you.
welcome. Okay, and then we can't go home. Every I think if you're black and you got a little bit of black African up in you, you do feel that type of longing to go back home and to have your parents like, nah, y'all not the original man. You are not the original black man. You watered down. Well, hell, how else you gonna get?
But like it's our fault. Like I was saying, it is not our fault for the fact that we have the type of relationship that we have. Like the same way, whether you're from the Caribbean, whether you're from Africa, wherever you're from, you come to America and you say, well, black Americans are lazy or they don't understand the opportunity that we have. Because a lot of you are detached from what happens. You come here, you migrate to America and see the opportunity. And don't get me wrong, America has a lot of opportunity. If you really look into how a lot of these countries are that has a majority of black people is very impoverished. But we have to recognize the pattern. If the neighborhoods we live in are highly impoverished, the countries that we are in are highly impoverished, we need to stop fighting amongst each other as just a black people. Whether you're African,
Hmm.
whether you're Caribbean, whether you're from Canada, wherever you're from, whatever whether you're black in France, wherever, we have to kind of pull together and understand as just a black people that, yo, it's a system and it's a game that's been rigged for hundreds and hundreds of years that we must fully recognize and we have to acknowledge. And we in the end fight for us, if Africans saying we're not black enough, and we can't go here, and then America really doesn't want us, and you really don't know what's your true sense of self and who you are and what you are, and what you're made of. It's just, it makes you feel like I said earlier, like, and what this show is about. We feel orphaned as Black Americans. What is our homeland? Like, if you're around anybody, if you're around somebody of the Latino background, or somebody who is Mexican, or somebody who is African, who's here in America, whether they're a student or they're a doctor, lawyer, whatever their profession is, they can say, "Oh, I'm going back home." Or, for example, I work at a school that has different nationalities of children, and sometimes they take holidays where they'll be gone for a month to their parents' native land, whether it's in New Zealand or Portuguese or wherever it is. They have family there, and they take a holiday, quote unquote, vacation, and they go there for a month or whatever. But black Americans, we don't have that luxury to know that, oh, we have a homeland. Our homeland is whatever city we are in. And sometimes the city is not our homeland because our ancestors were really rooted in the deep south. And we really don't want to go back there because it's so much pain from what happened in the deep south to our previous generation. So, in a lot of ways, we feel like, what is our true home? What is the stock that we are made of? What's in our DNA? And something you can do all the ancestry and my DNA and all of that you want, but a lot of times our history only gets documented so far. We don't know whether we were admirals and generals, and unless we get told stories of this documented proof, but a lot of our proof has been destroyed. So what are we to do?
Honestly, I mean, let's be honest about it. You right. What are we to do? Yeah, everybody can go home. We don't have a home. We don't. And what they show us over here as a depiction of what Africa is, mostly growing up in our generation, we've been seeing them on that missionary work that come on channel 38 every night at 1 o'clock. Oh, let's
and
feed the
and
children.
they look so frail, and they got, you know, messed up teeth, or they need dental work. And this is Africa, the puddles and the mud. But the Africa they don't show you on TV is what I believe what was a real big, to me, one of the most beautiful things about Black Panther was the scenery and showing African civilization, whether was fictional without it being colonized, and what we really were, the technology, the way we could eat off the land, the things we were able to do, the way everybody was able to live in a more comfortable space, and it felt inclusive. And to me, that's the image that we long for and we hunger for. And when we've gotten older, we've had friends to be able, whether it's friends that have traveled, family, or us being in a financial position to travel, or being able to, thank goodness to the World Wide Web, the internet, being able to see the other side of Africa. Like, America is not just all hoods. Like, for example,
Yeah.
Chicago, the way they want to depict Chicago on the evening news is this gun riddled, carjacking, crazy, baby killing city. And don't get it twisted, a lot of that does happen in this city, but the Chicago that I grew up knowing is downtown on the lakefront, is Navy Pier, it's being in the neighborhood, having block parties, going to the candy store on the corner, getting the ices. That's what I've grown to love. But the news doesn't show you that Chicago. It doesn't show you the real Chicago, the everyday working mothers and fathers, and the generations that have grown up on the south and west side of the city. But the media shows you one way, and isn't that odd? Like I said, that I wouldn't say odd, but it's funny that they depict our city as a war and savage, poverty stricken area, and they do the same thing to Africa. So
Hmm.
it's so the media does the same thing, just in different places. And we have to wake up and realize that. And we as Black Americans, if we cannot truly go, if we are not accepted in African culture, we really have to start to build our own foundation here in America, and buy back the blocks, make the blocks
Hmm.
black, have businesses in our neighborhoods, have communities within communities. But then again, if we try to do that, we all know Rosewood, Black Wall Street. We know the game. So we just always feel like we're trying. When they say pull yourself up by your own bootstraps, and we try to do that, then they say, matter of fact, let me take your boots. Like, what the hell? So it's just a never ending cycle that somehow we have to figure out as Black Americans.
But then hold on, Charnel. I'm gonna have to play not even devil's advocate. Just keep it 100. Alright, yeah. They tell us to pull up by our own bootstraps and then take our boots. But we keep on forgetting as a people. Hell, we don't need boots. We can make magic in our bare feet. As many
That's true.
marathons they have over in the United States of America, and have every marathon be won by somebody in Kenya,
Very
from
true.
Kenya
Very
or
true.
from Africa and everything,
Very
or
true.
from Nigeria. Come on now, we can run,
Yeah.
we can make shit happen with our bare feet. We don't need your boots. And that's one
That's
thing
true.
I got to say. We gotta learn, we gotta get back as a people, as Black people in America, in the United States of America. We need to get back to our creativity, to having faith in our own creativity. With our creativity, with our own hands, we build this country. With our own hands and our own minds, we made different inventions that is used today by everybody. So where do we where's the disconnect
I
of
feel you.
why we can't really push forward? Hell, we made everything. Everything that they teach us in school now came from us.
That's very true.
Come
And
on
and
now.
and And I feel you, and I do feel you on that point. And this is why I say this: as Black Americans, we have resources that we have to tap into, that we have to be willing to understand. Like, no, we don't always get dealt the fair hand. But if you know anything about when you don't get a fair hand dealt to you, you make it work with the cards you got. You
Man.
go, you gonna make it work, and you might take the whole book and run to Boston off of that bad hand. So we have to understand the resources. We have to reach out to community and not be afraid to ask other people what we need to do and what we should do, what we can do, and what we're capable of doing. And we have to not be so against each other, but we have to bring each other along for the ride. I use this for example, and then we'll move on to the next point that's on the for the show. When we decided to start this podcast, um, I had this in my head for a long time. And I just didn't, I said, I knew I needed somebody who I could bounce ideas off of, where we could work together, where our work ethic was the same, where we both had ambitions. I've always been somebody who clocked the 9 to 5, who've always like worked in a structured environment. But knowing I had connections with Alexis going way back, she's done both. She's been had the entrepreneurial spirit, has made money on her own, and she hasn't clocked into a job in a very long time, and still providing for her children, and still making maintaining her household, and she still has the freedoms to do what she needs to do. And I want to get to that point. But in order to get to that point, I have to connect with somebody who's already at that point. So we decided to come together not only as friends but as business partners. Now I could have said, well, she got her own name and da da da. I don't want nobody taking over my shine. With the wop. Like, no, I had to humble myself enough to be like, I have this vision that I want to see happen. I have goals and aspirations to one day, hopefully, to never have to clock in to anything ever again but my own dreams, my own ambitions, and my own aspirations and my work. Instead of working for somebody else, work for myself and build a legacy for my family, that they can have something that's theirs that I can pass down, whatever that may be. And I had to humble myself to say, hey, Alexis, I want you to be my co host. I want us to do this thing together. I want you to use your clout, your marketing genius, your connections, who you know in the business, for us to come together and create something. And she knew that I was good at creating content, staying on top of what's going on, about, just keeping my ear to the streets of how to do things. So we both knew what our strengths was, and we never decided to point out each other's weaknesses. And that's what we do a lot of times as Black people. Instead of saying, hey, you're strong at that, you can do that, so I need to connect with somebody who can do what I can't do, we have the prideful mentality to be like, I'm going to do everything because I don't want to share. I want my name to be on the marquee. But if your name is on the marquee, my name on the marquee, man, we all eat. So I don't
Mm-hmm.
care. And we got, and I had, and sometimes it takes humbling yourself and realizing what you're good at, what you need to improve in, and what somebody else is good at. If Queen Alexis is someplace in her life that I aspire to be, I'm not gonna look at it and be jealous. I'm gonna pick her brain about it. Cause one, she my homie, and two, I'd be like, yo, let's get this bag together. Like, what sense does it make for us to try to collect different bags separately and get into business with people we do not trust, or
And
do
do
not
not
have
want.
any, and do not have any relationship with, and we both know don't have the work ethic that each other has. Instead of being like, I trust you, you trust me, we have a history, we have a relationship, you know my work, you know what I'm capable of, I know what you're capable of, and that way we can build something bigger than ourselves and our pride and our ego. And we just have to get into that, and that's the only way we, as a Black Americans, that's the culture we need to create. Despite feeling like we're abandoned by American culture and African culture, we have to create a culture of unity within our own selves, within our own communities, and the people we know. We don't have to reach out to different people. I could have been like, yo, I could go into business with somebody else. But why go into business with somebody else that's gonna steal the food off your plate instead of making sure you go into business with somebody to make sure you get seconds and thirds? But I don't know if y'all hear me though.
I mean, I don't think they do. I don't think they do. But yeah, I just find it interesting that okay, to move on to the next point, I find this interesting because now we coming up to this movie that's coming out tomorrow that Beyonce made, Black is King, and it is I mean, very wonderful. Off of the trailers alone, it is a very
Yes,
wonderful movie for us as a people to take in, and be like move forward with, especially in this time and age and this racial climate where we need as much motivation as possible to get back to our original self, that we have some of our African sisters and brothers saying that she misappropriating African culture.
yes,
Like, the
and
woman is
that's
another
what
race.
yes, and that's what I want to get into. Is it possible for Black people to really misuse or undermine African culture? And quite frankly, let's just get down to it. Um, Tomorrow is July 31st. Beyonce is releasing a film called Black is King on Disney Plus, which I will be watching probably 3, 4, 5 times. So I'm just letting y'all know, don't say nothing to me. If y'all gonna trash Beyonce on the internet tomorrow, don't say anything to me, because I will block you. I'm sorry, I will block you. Call it what you want, call it what you don't want, but that's what it is. And the trailers, pretty much the film is, if anybody listened to her album last year, The Gift, when she released it simultaneously with the release of the live action Lion King, which was like an unofficial kind of soundtrack to the Lion King. And she just, felt inspired by what the movie was talking about. So she made a live action, not with animals, not cartoons, with Black people,
Black
talking
people.
about talking about the story of the Lion King. And let's really get into what the story of the Lion King is. It's about pretty much a young man, a young lion, who is going to take over and be king one day of the pride. And his father gets killed, and he feels so, feels like it's his fault, so he runs away. Then he comes back to reclaim his throne and his place, that this is his kingdom. So everybody knows the story, and to this day, Scar, you a bitch. But anyways,
Forever.
um, forever, and you damn hyenas. But getting back to the subject at hand, if anybody knows the story, Lion King bases off of Hamlet. And if you know anything about Hamlet and you know anything about the Bible, that story is also the prodigal son. So it's very spiritually rooted. And I want to talk about something that I know me and Alexis are going to get into. And she's actually talking about on her other podcast, The Mad Hatter, and that's African spirituality and Christianity. I just want to give you a note real quick. A lot of people who say to us as Black people, especially Black Americans, and the quote unquote woke people are like, "Oh, why you with that white man's religion?" And Jesus was fed to you through white slave owners to control you and manipulate you, and they misuse the Bible, and you praying to this white Jesus and blah blah blah. Okay, we've heard it all before. But for one, I'm not denying that the Bible wasn't misused. I'm not saying that there isn't racism the within Christianity and within the Christian church, and that's a whole nother layer that we will have to definitely tap into. But I found this fact today that I hope all of y'all are listening. Christianity came first to the continent of Africa in the first or early to second century AD. Oral tradition says first Muslims appeared while the Prophet Muhammad was still alive. He died in 1632. Thus, both religions have been on the continent of Africa for over 1,300 years. So, in plain English, for all of you who do not understand, Christianity didn't just start in the Southern America, did not start with slavery. No, it wasn't fair to us. Yes, there were Africans who were brought here to America and they were Muslim and they were forcibly tried to be converted to Christianity. But there was Christianity long in the continent of Africa before the slave trade ever was. So for anybody who keeps saying to you, especially me as a Christian, who says I'm following a white, yes, Jesus has been whitewashed in every way, and I hope y'all know what I'm talking about. But for
Been a
anybody
boy.
who wants to say to me that I'm following a white man's religion, I'm going to say this to you loud and clear. You dumbass. Okay? Okay. Do
Okay,
y'all
let's be
understand? Okay.
okay.
That's all
Okay, and
I'm saying. I'm not saying that there are not no parallels between what happened with Christianity, doing slavery, and all of that. But to say that it came from the white man and it's a white man's religion is really disrespectful to saying that like black people don't that we are not founders of all things, but we're gonna pretend like things don't get whitewashed and history gets we win all the time for the benefits of the white ego and they're feeling inferior. So they tend to try to make blacks feel inferior due to their inferiority. But that's just what it is. I'm not saying it's all white. So before y'all go and saying, oh, Nelly out here being racist and like it's impossible for a black person to be racist. Yes, we can have a lot of prejudice, but racism takes having a power structure. And I do not have any power structure over anybody but
mhm.
myself. But I'm just saying what's history and what's fact. And we have to look at facts before we start to go off of feelings. Facts aren't feelings and feelings aren't facts. So we have to look at what's real and what's true. And that's all I'm saying.
If you want to talk about facts, let's keep it 100. If with coming down to Christianity, you want to bring it all the way together, bring it all the way around here. We're gonna talk about what they even stated up in the Bible and in history and in history books as well that they feel like, or if us as a people would just finally read and actually see the connection of where Christianity, what they call Christianity, first started in for Africa. It was started by one of Jesus' disciples in Africa. He was by the name of Mark. Yep, go into the New Testament, you got Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. The second one that decided to go on to Ethiopia and go ahead and introduce this new way of living. Like I said on Mad Hatter, we have misunderstood and misconstrued what was the original meaning for Christianity. This is supposed to be like us being Christ, walking in the way that Christ did. He wasn't a Christian. He was Jewish, but just knew how to live better than
And
what was
hence
given to him.
and hence why it's called Christianity for
Yeah,
Christ.
but we
That's
missed that.
where that's where the that's where the denomination, that's where the religion formed from. Because Jesus was a Jew, and let's just be completely honest. That was a prominent religion, and we as a people have to understand, like I said last week on the podcast, when we tend to look at other people's struggle and we with everything that Nick Cannon said about the Jewish people, we have to understand when we talk about the Jewish people, we are actually talking about ourselves.
It is
Because
ourselves.
and for us to have that ignorant and not really because we consistently, like I said, we want to have the trauma Olympics and raise our hands and say who's been traumatized the most instead of really
Mm-hmm.
understanding the basis and the outlook for a whole lot of these things and these causes. And that's just what it really comes down to. And another thing, before we wrap everything up, as we as we're talking about this film, and a lot of people on the internet, and it's coming from black women, from other black women, saying saying to Beyonce she's misappropriating and she's using this to make bank and all of this. Like, how can a black person misappropriate culture of black people, whether it's African people? And if y'all seen the trailer, she's covering a lot of bases from black Southern culture with the grills and the cars, from African culture, from the debutante culture that we have adopted, and all of those things that included to the black experience. How is she misappropriating anything? And she's worked with a lot of creative people from Africa, from the continent of Africa. She shot a lot of the film in Africa, Nigeria, Ghana, and so she's giving back to those communities, providing jobs, not just stripping resources, unlike Europeans did, but she's actually giving back resources to the same continent and doing a lot more. So we as black people, we have to we have to learn what to fight about and what not to fight about. And I know a whole lot of people gonna be trending because some people just call it what it is. When you're highly successful as somebody like Beyonce, and as we was talking about last week for colorism, her being a lighter, fair skin tone, a lot of people gonna be saying, "Oh, she really can't talk about and be extra black because she's fair skinned and blase blase, and her mother is really Creole and all that." Like, that's black. All of it is black. You could call it Creole, black, whatever, Jamaican, Haitian. It's black. Black is black, and black is what black is. I'm sorry. The police stop you. They're not going to ask you, "Excuse me, are you Creole? Are you Black American? Are you from Nigeria? Are you from Belize? Are you from Haiti?" No. They're just
Are
going
you
to see
mixed
your
with
skin.
anything else other than black? No.
Are you black or a little bit black? Are you 10% black? Are you like what black are you? Are you Thomas Jefferson type black? Or are you like black? Like, but see, okay, I'm gonna get in trouble because I'm saying something. Okay, but
But you telling the
anyways,
truth. Tell the truth. Tell the truth. Same devil. Tell the truth. But this is another thing. I find this interesting that we saying that we misappropriating African culture when it comes down. Trying to go a little bit go back to the religion of Christianity. When it comes down to Christianity, what we are knowing now, this type of Christianity religion got so much of us up in it that it don't make
it's
no
very true.
sense.
If
They
you look at
have,
some of the tribal traditions, they're try. Okay,
honey,
if you ever listen, if you ever saw an African dance or a tribal dance, a lot of it looks like miming. A lot of it looks like praise dancing that you see in church.
a straight praise
So
break up in there, okay?
a lot of those ceremonies and what they do are us. So we're so connected unknowingly sometimes that is so much of our culture seeped in, but we've been brainwashed to really never pay attention to it. And by the time we pay attention to it, it's been so whitewashed that we tend to think that it's really not from us when it is.
It
And I
is.
want to make and I want to make this point, and I believe it's a very, very valid point. We have to stop demonizing African culture, whether it's from the bayous of Louisiana or the
That's it.
borders of Africa or right here in America. the black church needs to stop demonizing black culture and African culture in that way, saying it's devilish and it's spirits. Let me just break something down to you. If you say that I don't, I saw a tweet one time when it says when somebody says my ancestors are watching me, how is that going to be comforting? I don't want those. I don't want dead spirits. The only spirit that I want is the Holy Spirit. Let me just break this down to you. It's still a Holy Spirit. It's still a Holy Ghost. So you're saying this spirit is bad of your ancestors, but the spirit of the Holy Ghost. So who do you think the spirit of the Holy Ghost is? When those spirits um, overtake you, like those spirits, and we have to, yes, we have to have discernment because there's bad spirits and there's good spirits, but for us to demonize everything that's black, that is wrong. But the only spirit that seems to be okay is the Holy Spirit because it's been ingrained in us because that's the only spirit we should have as black people. But that's our problem. We need to connect to all of those spirits, to the struggles of our ancestors, so we can have the forging power to make some changes. And like with this movie, I respect what Beyonce is doing because she's doing something with her power and with her leverage that a lot of black people don't do. They make their money and they be quiet and they don't try to ruffle any feathers. But what she's doing
Bread.
has to be
They
has to
make
be
that bread,
applauded.
get that head, and leave.
It has to be applauded because she did her pop records. She had white audiences fall in love with her.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Mm-hmm.
Lemonade came. And then Black Parade came, and then now this movie Black is King came, and then you had Homecoming, which was a celebration of HBCU culture and black culture and Southern culture, and so she said, "I'm going to make white America so comfortable with me that they're going to forget who I really am." And then I'm going to take control of my career and will remind y'all who I really am. That I had on a mask to make you
Mm-hmm.
comfortable. But now that I've gotten to a place with status, money, and power, I'm going to make you so uncomfortable and I'm going to ride for my people. And us as black people need to support that because we always say, oh, they get to Hollywood. They forget where they come from. They forget that she was from Texas and from Houston, from the third ward and all of that. Like, no, she ain't never forgot. She just played the game. And that's what a lot of black people don't understand. You play the game and then you change the rules. You can't be an owner while you're still a player. So
Mm-hmm.
you become a player, then you become a boss. You don't walk into an establishment and say, hey, I want to be the manager. No. Sometimes you start from an entry level position, then you become the manager. Before you know it, you done bought 4, 5, 6 franchises. And you now the boss. So that's the blueprint we really need to follow. We don't need to be out here saying that she's this or she's that, especially black women. We need to look at this boss up move that she made white America so comfortable. And then she said, you know what? I'm about to show y'all my black ass in all its
Mm-hmm.
glory.
All of it.
And that right there has to be the blueprint. You might not like her. You might think she's overweighted. You might whatever you think about Beyonce. But this blueprint has to be followed because every time a blueprint was about to be given to us, our superstars and our heroes suddenly get scandals. Something suddenly comes out about her. And if y'all notice, the last few years they tried to do it, whether it was what happened in the elevator, whether it's what happening with stuff that goes on. Like they tried to tarnish her name, but it's never prevailed because she willed her power. And now she's making content and she's doing boss stuff that we say we wish that we could see done, like Nipsey Hussle was doing, like Tupac was trying to do, Like so many of our brothers and sisters have been trying to give us the game for years, but they get taken out by some street BS from
Mm-hmm.
us, or they get taken out by some corporate BS from upstairs. That's why I said last week, Nick Cannon needed to be more strategic. I'm not saying don't educate your people, but realize that we need you in that seat, then out of that seat. We
Mm-hmm.
need you in the room, then not in the room, so you can
Come
check
on.
them. We need you to have receipts. So when they doing some bogus stuff, you could be like, I could pull receipts. So unless we gonna make these changes, stuff gonna look real bad for you out here. And that's what we have to do. And we have to realize what Beyonce is doing. Her This film is being released on Disney Plus. If anybody knows anything, like Queen Alexa said last week about Walt Disney himself, he was very racist, very fascist, very anti-Semitic, all of those things. But this is being released on the platform that carries his name. How powerful is that? That you wield that much power, that you have multi deals with Netflix, Disney, all of these corporations headed by white people, and not with people that look like us. But in order for you to do business with the likes of somebody like a Beyonce, you have to have black people in the room. And she's saying,
Mm-hmm.
if you want black talent, we need black executives. We need black interns. We need people who speak for us. And to me, that has to be commended. And us as black people, we might feel like we're orphaned. We might feel like we don't have a whole lot of people out here for us, but we do. So we need to bind those relationships with the African culture, with African people. And we need to start realizing who we are and who we really are. And it starts from educating ourselves, because as black people, we always say they need to educate themselves. They need to know the wrongs and the sins that they're doing to us and how it's afflicting us. But in reality, we as black people, we shouldn't be above educating ourselves. So we don't say foolish, stupid things and put our foot in our mouth, because we're going to look like fools. And then we're still pointing the finger that they're the ones who never understand. But we need to be taking our own advice. And that's what's real.
Mm-hmm. Right. That is what's real. That's what's real. You're right. Just to pick it back on what you just said, we do. We need to have people in the room, and that what you just saying that made me think. Man, all these years we've been looking for a black Messiah, a black savior in our political system to right the wrongs that was doing to us, but we was looking at it in a whole nother way. We needed folks at the table so they can deliver back the message, which they were. We have so many of our black politicians that us as black people have turned their backs on because they was like, oh, well, she went under Republican, she went under Democratic, she went under Independent. They doing this, they doing this. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some black people that straight being, you know, bless their heart,
Yeah,
but
yeah, 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 yeah.
but
Call it
there
what it
are
is.
a lot of us that there are a lot of us that even in this racial climate that I must say have stood up against oppression like crazy. And I'm grateful to see that we will still had a seat at the table and use what they call shucking and jiving, use all our years of shucking and jiving just to get a little bit of of the masses secrets and come back and use the same tools that they using on us and bring it back on them. Yes, you have to do the blueprint, move in silence, move in silence. Instead of us trying
Exactly.
to hurry up and get out, you use the cards that you dealt with, use the people that you get, and go. Come on, let's move in silence. Hush, master gonna hear you. talk in code. You know, us black folks, we know how to talk in code, whether or not it's verbal or non-verbal, especially a black woman. Come on.
Exactly. The facial expression sometimes tell it all. Like,
Honey,
tell it
do
all.
you realize that in our political system, in our government, that we have several black women in these seats of either mayor or senate or congresswoman? They are in these seats where it used to be white men. We have
Ex-
them
and, and,
more than ever.
yes, and we have to kind of look at it from this way. We have to stop expecting the blacks to be the saviors when we never look at whites that way. We can't
Hmm.
expect we can't expect like right here in Chicago for Mayor Lightfoot to change everything about a corrupted system that's been around since the first day, and
Baby.
how and and we expect her to fix this in the middle of a pandemic with gun violence, and she didn't start any of this. The new superintendent of police didn't start any of this. So, and we have to check our homes before we go and say anything to them. But we have to, before
Amen.
we get out of here, I have to say this. I saw something on CNN that was really powerful. I saw the mayor of Chicago, the mayor of Atlanta, the mayor of DC, and I believe the mayor of San Francisco or some major city in California, and all of them were black, and all of them were
Black
women.
woman. Black
And
women.
to me, that was the most powerful image I could see. It was as powerful as seeing Barack Obama and Michelle Obama, to see that there were black women mayors heading some of the largest and most predominant cities in America. You have Chicago, you have DC, you have Atlanta, you have all these cities that have black mayors. You have and who are on national television. Then and they're getting noticed. And to me, you have to commend them. And a lot. And do you realize if it wasn't this past election, Mayor Lightfoot was the first in our city's history woman mayor and black woman mayor. So we in Chicago, as much as we do, I have to give y'all a hand clap because we did that. Like we literally
Hmm.
changed the course of history. And if we don't make Miss Lightfoot so tired, because she looks so tired, Auntie Lightfoot looks so tired, then she might run for a second term, or she might be like, I'm gonna go home and go to sleep. But anyways, before we wrap up and get ready to get out of here on this Redline Thursday, I want to say we have to come together as a people. We have to continue to strive for greatness. And us as black people, we have a culture. And if we feel like we're orphaned or we're abandoned, we have to keep pushing. We have to keep striving. And we have to keep going so that we can build a culture within the culture. And let's not get this confused. Don't say we're misappropriating black culture or African culture when white people like the Kardashians and others have done it for years, but we say that they're just trending and they're fashionable, but we're misappropriating. Now, no, call it to the carpet. Stop that self hate. Stop that colorism. And let's really call to the carpet who really is really doing it. And we need to commend those who are doing it for the culture. That's that's for us, by us. And that's what I just gotta say. So as we pull into the 95th Street station, please grab all your belongings and exit. This is as far as this train will go. As you head upstairs, the elevator or the escalator, and head to your next destination, we want to thank you for riding the red line with us. Please come back next Thursday and every Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time right here on TalkShoeRadio.com. Our number again is 717-734-6904. Show ID 511-6519 #. You can also check us out on YouTube, the Red Line Podcast. Please like, share, subscribe, and turn on those post notifications for all upcoming videos and episodes. Also, we're on Google Podcasts as well as Spotify. Don't forget to tell a friend, to tell a friend, to tell some more friends to like and follow our Facebook page for all upcoming events and shows and topics. Also, if you're interested in promoting your event or your business or any other business inquiries, please email us at redlinepodcast2020 at gmail.com. You can find me on Twitter at NellySwag09, on Instagram at NellySwag09, and on Facebook, please like my fan page, NellySwag09, as well as you can send me a friend request on my personal page, Charnel Nelly Logan, to reach out to me. I want to thank y'all for rocking with me and continue to have these numbers go up. The Spotify streaming numbers are going up. The subscriptions on YouTube are going up. The engagements. And it's all possible because of all of you out there. And Queen Alexis, where can they find you? And tell them all what you got going on.
All right, y'all can find me on Talk Shoe Radio 3 times a week, Tuesday night with my open mic, Madam Queen's Court. Open mic on Tuesday night at 8 o'clock. The number is 717-734-6904. The show ID is 2864394 #. Raise your hand if you are a um, artist, a rapper, singer, or poet. You can call in every Tuesday night. We had to postpone this past Tuesday night to next Tuesday night due to technical difficulties, but we are back up and running and everything cool. Then you can find me on Thursday nights at 7 o'clock with my girl Nelly Swag at the Redline Podcast, 717-734-6904. Show ID 5116519 #. And then on Saturday nights at 8 o'clock with my boy Devontae Davis and my girl Mavis Davis. We will be we all meeting at the table in the room where it happened with the Mad Hatters on Mad Hatter Talk Show. And this Saturday, we're going to be discussing Sean King and what his comments have said about the image of Jesus Christ. Yeah, we going there, all the way there, all the
Ooh,
way there.
no, don't do that.
That's what we do.
No.
That's
Oh
what
my
we do.
goodness.
That's what we do. So call in if you want to put in your comments about what we talking about. You call in on Saturday at 8 o'clock, 8 o'clock Central, 9 o'clock Eastern, at 717-734-6904. The show ID is 991-5968 #. So raise your hand in there. You put star 6 and everything. So share your opinion and everything on that one. So you can also find me on Facebook under my personal page, Alexis Sherelle Owens, and my fan page, Queen Alexis. You can also find me on Instagram at Queen_Alexis1990, where you will see all the flyers for these platforms for Talk Shoe Radio. Mad Hatter is on not only Talk Shoe Radio, but it's on Spotify and soon will be on iHeartRadio. We are getting all of our podcasts from under Soulful Entertainment, which I'm president of. Hi, shout out to Soulful Entertainment Productions. Um, on different platforms, so we have platforms for everybody. If you are artists, you come rock with us on Tuesday nights. And if you got some opinions about stuff, rock with us on Thursdays and Saturday nights. So with that being said, I'm done.
Yeah, yeah. So beautiful people, beautiful people. We want to thank you once again for rocking with us on this what? Red Line Thursday. Red Line
Well, last
Thursday. Red
Thursday.
Line Thursday. Yeah, yeah. And you can catch us here again every Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. And thank you for all our listeners on TalkShoe who download the episodes. Want to thank all our listeners on Spotify and Google Podcasts and YouTube and all of the streaming platforms where you listen to your podcast. We'll be coming to more platforms soon. So I want to thank you once again. So thank you again for for riding the red line with us on another deep, fun, insightful topic. We're here to educate, motivate, and percolate. Time for the percolator. Hey, time for the
Hey,
okay. Let me stop. Let me stop. Let me stop. So, yeah. So, again, thank you for walking with us on this Wear Nine Thursdays. We love you. Peace and blessings. And, oh, yeah, did I forget to mention? Arrest the cops that killed Breonna Taylor. Thank you.
hmm